Before even starting to do it, as an animator, my mind automatically visualizes the shots. Warm-toned panoramic shots of the birthday banquet, setting up the festive mood, cutting to close-ups, capturing the cold smile that can't be hidden in the female lead's eyes. Extreme close-ups of bulging veins on the husband's face when he is furious. Low-angle shots when the mistress kneels to highlight her hypocrisy. The mistress got pregnant and wanted status. My husband brought her to my birthday banquet. In front of all the guests, the mistress held the concubine's tea and knelt before me pitifully. My lord said if I don't get madam's consent, he'll make me abort the child. I beg madam to give me a way to live. I didn't say anything, nor did I take the tea. Me husband, standing to the side, instantly flew into a rage. You've had no children in 6 years. Me having Yuan Yang offer you tea is giving you face. Since you don't want Yuan Yang as a concubine, fine. I'll elevate her to be an equal wife. Everyone thought I was heartbroken into silence. Letting my husband and his mistress come and go without saying a word, only my good friend came up to me and whispered a reminder. Everyone's gone. You don't need to hold back your laughter anymore. Liu Changzi and I have been married for 6 years. Every year he personally organizes my birthday banquet. This year was no different. The difference was, this time he left in a hurry midway, and when he came back, he brought a pregnant woman in her 20s. I had just seen this woman yesterday. At the time, Liu Changzi was accompanying me to pick out jewelry, and the woman and I had our eyes on the same hairpin. Without asking for my consent, he directly took the hairpin and handed it to the woman. Then only afterward tried to persuade me, "Madam has plenty of jewelry. You are not short of this one piece. Let's just let it go." That was a plain silver hairpin, not really suited for a young woman. It was a birthday gift I'd picked out for my mother-in-law. It was still over a month until my mother-in-law's birthday, so I silently let it go. At the time, when that woman took the hairpin, the way she looked at me was a bit strange. Inexplicably carrying hostility, I thought it was just my imagination. Only now do I realize she was provoking and showing off. Liu Changzi carefully supported the woman, and under the shocked and surprised gazes of all the guests, walked up to me. "Madam, this is Yuan Yang. She is carrying my child. I can't let the child be left out there. Today I am bringing her into the household." Liu Changzi's tone was firm, not allowing me any room to object, and immediately had someone bring tea. Yuan Yang took the tea, knelt down gracefully, and said softly, "Madam, please drink the tea." I didn't take it, my gaze wandering between their faces. In just that brief moment, Liu Changzi actually got angry. He helped Yuan Yang up and shielded her behind him. "You've had no children in 6 years. Me having Yuan Yang offer you tea is giving you face. Since you don't want Yuan Yang to be a concubine, fine, I'll elevate her to be an equal wife." After dropping those words, he didn't care about anything, took his mistress, and left the banquet without a second thought, leaving me alone to face all the onlookers staring at each other in disbelief. A perfectly good birthday banquet became a laughingstock. I should have been sad, but at this moment I only feel surprised, even somewhat fortunate and relieved, without a trace of sadness. The feelings between Liu Changzi and I, due to quarrels and cold wars time and time again, had long been worn away. 2 days' incident has let the agreement between my mother-in-law and I tacitly expire. I am going to be free. After politely seeing off all the guests, pondering how to proceed in the future, my good friend Princess Yang came over and asked me, "Were you holding back laughter just now? What are you going to do next? If you need my help, just say so." Liu Chang's and I are from the same hometown. I was a down-and-out orphan girl, making a living with my ancestral tofu pudding craft. Although life was hard, it was still bearable. He was a down-and-out scholar from next door, struggling to get by with his sickly mother. One night, a thief snuck into my shop, not only robbing money but also trying to assault me. When I screamed and ran away, I woke up Liu Changzi and his mother next door. The two of them worked together to help me catch the thief and sent him to the authorities. From then on, Liu Changzi and I gradually became familiar with each other. Under Liu's mother's matchmaking, we got engaged. The year Liu Changzi achieved the rank of 3rd place in the imperial examination, we officially got married. It has been 6 years now, the first year of our marriage. Our relationship was very good. Liu Changzi would reject all the women around him, telling everyone that I was his only wife. The second year, he started drifting away, social engagements increased, and various scents of rouge began appearing on him. We quarreled and gave each other the cold shoulder, but more often it was him one-sidedly blaming and despising me. He despised me for only knowing how to make tofu pudding, saying I wasn't as beautiful and dignified as other families' wives. I was heartbroken and distressed, had thoughts of running away from home, but dismissed the idea because I was pregnant. When the fetus was 4 months along, Liu Changzi accompanied me to the temple to pray for blessings. On the way back, the horses lost control and nearly fell off a cliff. I desperately protected Liu Changzi and jumped from the carriage, saving both our lives, but the child was lost. Out of guilt, Liu Changzi treated me even better than when we first got married. It is just that this kindness was like bubbles, ready to disappear the next moment. I didn't want it. I brought up divorce with Liu Changzi, but he refused, saying I was his wife and could only be his wife. I wanted my mother-in-law to persuade him to agree, but instead she counseled me, telling me to ease my mind, that Liu Changzi wouldn't do anything to wrong me. Me mother-in-law had been kind to me, so for her sake, I compromised. It was also then that I made an agreement with my mother-in-law if Liu Changzi had a change of heart. She would help me get a divorce. Just as I finished writing the divorce papers, Liu Changzi happened to lift the curtain and come in. Our eyes met, and a trace of embarrassment flashed across his face. Today is your birthday. I shouldn't have disrespected you, but you also shouldn't have embarrassed me first by not accepting Yuanyang's tea. He was still acting self-righteous, as if bringing his mistress to my birthday banquet was a favor to me, and I must accept it. But by now, I no longer had any desire to argue with him. That talk about making her an equal wife was just me speaking in anger. It doesn't count. Find an auspicious day, and let Yuanyang enter the household as a concubine instead. He casually poured some tea and sat down calmly. Seeing the writing in my hand, he became interested. It has been a long time since I taught you calligraphy. Let me see if you've made any progress. When he saw the 3 characters divorce letter, his expression instantly changed. You actually want a divorce. His eyes were full of disbelief, and also full of hurt, we said before. If either of us has a change of heart, we'd separate. Liu Changzi scoffed disdainfully. He casually tore up the divorce letter and stuffed the scraps into my hand, returning to his usual high and mighty look of looking down on me. Xuntao, I've told you. You are my wife, and for this lifetime, whether in life or death, you are. Besides, what else can you do if you leave me? Go sell duhua, let people ogle you during the day and crawl into your bed at night. Smack. Liu Changzi's words became more and more excessive. I really couldn't stand it anymore and slapped him across the face. Using all my strength, blood instantly seeped from the corner of his mouth. I thought Liu Changzi would be even angrier, but unexpectedly, not only was he not, he actually smiled, casually licking away the blood from the corner of his mouth. He spoke coldly. I am giving you a way out today, since you are not willing to take it. Then I'll still elevate Yuanyang to be an equal wife. The date is set for 10 days from now. I'll personally arrange it. After all, she is the one who contributed to continuing the Liu family line. He left without looking back, and when he reached the doorway, he even kicked and broke the curtain. The mistress has been with Liu Changzi for a year already, previously kept hidden and unseen. Now the 2 of them openly go out together in pairs, as if the mistress is the legitimate wife. The 2 of them visited every clothing and jewelry shop in the capital, ordered the most fashionable wedding dress, and chose the most dazzling jewelry. Liu Changzi used to despise me for not knowing how to compose poetry and couplets. Never took me to gatherings with friends, but now he takes the mistress along. Though the mistress came from a brothel, she is proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, letting Liu Changzi gain plenty of face. I arranged to meet Yi Yang at a restaurant, and just happened to run into the mistress with her arm linked with Liu Changzi and a group of friends walking out. Brother Liu, your wife has come looking for you. I told you so. How could your wife let you go? Just 1 meal's worth of drinking, and she has already tracked you down. At his friend's reminder, Liu Changze walked toward me with drunken steps. Chuntao, I knew it. Just taking a concubine. How could you really be angry with me? Just had a bit to drink, feeling a little drunk. You make us a bowl of sobering soup, and I'll forgive you. A smug smile spread across his flushed, drunk face as he reached out to grab me, but I dodged away. Seeing Liu Changzi's displeased expression, the concubine happened to step forward, continuing to fan the flames. If elder sister doesn't want to, then forget it. If the master wants to drink sobering soup, Yuanyang can also make it. Liu Changzi looked at her with drunken eyes, held her hand, and gently rubbed it. Your hands can play the zither and paint. Using them to make soup would be such a waste. I can't bear it. Chuntao, apart from making duhua, she is best at making sobering soup. You should try it when the time comes. Liu Changzi's words caused everyone to chime in agreement. I thought I had long seen through Liu Changzi's true face, but after years of marriage, hearing these words from his mouth still made my heart turn cold. I supported his imperial examination by selling duhua. 5 years of leaving early and returning late, working my heart and body. The first thing he did after passing was forbid me from selling duhua, afraid of being laughed at. I complied with his wishes, packed up the duhua stall, only occasionally making some for our own family. 6 years of marriage, I worked hard to learn etiquette and propriety, helped him manage the inner household, handled various affairs, knowing he loved to drink but had low alcohol tolerance. I specially learned many recipes for sobering soup, just to find the most suitable one for him, so he wouldn't suffer so much after drinking. In his eyes, all I can do is make sobering soup. Unable to hold back the grief and anger in my heart any longer, wanting to speak my mind, Yang pulled me back in time, looking coldly at Liu Changzi. I had no idea Lord Liu had the potential to dote on his concubine and destroy his wife. The concubine hasn't even entered the household yet, and already acts this way. What will happen when she actually does? According to our dynasty's laws, those who favor concubines and neglect their wives shall receive 40 strokes of the cane and be exiled for 3 years. Does Lord Liu wish to have a taste of the rod? Or perhaps everyone present here wants to try? Yi Yang's words were forceful and resolute. Everyone sobered up with a jolt, their drunkenness mostly gone. Liu Changzi especially panicked and shook off his mistress's hand, about to come take mine, but was blocked by Princess Yi Yang. Lord Liu, you'd better focus on managing the wedding banquet. Chuntao is an honored guest I invited. Today we came to discuss matters, not to be insulted by you. If I hear even half a word disparaging Chuntao from you or your shady friends again, you can weigh the consequences yourself. Ye Yang dragged me into the inner chamber, leaving the crowd outside to look at each other in dismay before leaving resentfully. Your taste really is terrible. What kind of person is this, thinking he is all that, just because he passed the imperial exam in 3rd place? Good thing you are getting a divorce. Otherwise facing such a person every day would be so aggravating. I was originally still upset, but hearing her defend me like this, the grievance in my heart dissipated completely in an instant. I've already taken care of the divorce matter, just haven't told Liu Changzi yet. When I leave tomorrow, he'll naturally find out. I really must thank you for your help with this. Ye Yang is the only surviving offspring of the emperor's own brother, favored by the emperor since childhood. Even the princesses have to show her deference. By rights, I shouldn't be able to know someone like this, but although this princess had a noble status, she had no airs of a noble lady at all, and especially loved eating street food. In my first year in the capital, she fell in love with my tofu pudding and came to eat it every few days. After Liu Changzi wouldn't let me sell tofu pudding, she found out that I was the one who made it and came to find me. She didn't want the delicious tofu pudding to disappear just like that. So she invested money to open a tofu pudding shop with me. I provided the recipe. She provided the money. She got tofu pudding to eat. I got money to earn. Over the years, we gradually opened several tofu pudding shops. Today, we met up to discuss opening branch stores in other places. After our discussion, it was already late at night. Liu Changzi, for the first time ever, was waiting for me in the room. There was food on the table, and by the looks of it, It had been reheated more than once. "Shun Tao, you are back." There was no trace of alcohol on his face, and when he spoke to me, there was even a bit of politeness and flattery. It seems Princess Yi Yang's words had scared him. He embarrassed me again and again. But if I badmouthed him in front of Yi Yang, and she told the Emperor, although it wouldn't ruin his official career, it would definitely give the Emperor a bad impression. "What do you want from me?" Marrying Lu Chongzi, while there was certainly some affection involved, was more about finding stability for myself. Ansi gave me stability. I helped him with the imperial examinations, a win-win. Now he despises me for being vulgar and has developed second thoughts. I don't need him to give me stability anymore. He has even become a constraint and a burden. When a marriage has come to this, divorce is the best choice, but he just won't agree. I gave him 3 divorce papers, and he tore them all to shreds. With no other choice, I had to find another way to get him to sign. But even now, he still has no idea what documents he signed. Today was my fault. I promise it won't happen again. Lu Chongzi said seriously, "I've already told my colleagues about elevating Yuanyang to equal wife status. This matter is hard to go back on. But don't worry, she can't surpass you. You are the wife. She is the concubine. That will never change." Lu Chongzi kept chattering on, and for the first time I found him annoying. "I understand. If there is nothing else, you should head back early." After saying that, I had someone clear away the meal and went straight inside. After the birthday banquet, Lu Changzi brazenly moved into his mistress's courtyard. When he came back, he only stayed in the study. I thought this time would be the same, but unexpectedly, he wouldn't leave. "Shun Tao, must we really be like this? We shouldn't be this way. Let me stay tonight. Can we talk?" His words no longer carried their usual arrogance. Instead, there was some helpless flattery. I didn't want to waste my breath on him, and there was no way I'd let him stay, so I placated him. "In the future, I won't be like this either. You are taking a wife tomorrow. You need to rest early. I've been busy all day. I need to rest too." Hearing me compromise, Lu Changzi's face lit up with joy. He didn't go find his mistress, nor did he stay, but turned and went to the study. Early the next morning, most of the densely hung red silk in the courtyard had disappeared. The butler said it was Liu Changzi who had people take it down overnight. A few days ago, to spite me, Liu Changzi had all the courtyards hung with red. That grand display made it seem like he wasn't taking a concubine from a brothel, but marrying a noble lady from a royal or aristocratic family as his proper wife. Now, to win me back, he actually planned to slight his mistress. How laughable. The sounds of celebration drew closer. The bride entered. I slung my bundle on my back and headed to the wedding hall for the final resolution. Everywhere was filled with joy and merriment. Laughter and cheer, the guests' congratulations endless. Seeing me dressed in plain clothes, quite a few people looked embarrassed. Liu Changzi also frowned, clearly unhappy, but couldn't lash out at me. He wanted me to sit in the seat of honor to receive the tea ceremony, but I didn't listen to him and just stared at the entrance. "Shun Tao, what are you trying to pull now?" He came over to grab me, and though he tried hard to keep his voice down, I could still hear some anger in it. I smiled and handed him the wedding gift I had prepared. "Congratulations on your wedding, Master Liu. This is a wedding gift." Liu Changzi didn't take the gift, just stared at me intently. Seeing my expression was calm and I could still smile at him peacefully, he showed some panic on his face. "Shun Tao, you are my wife. I am taking a concubine to help you in the future. As husband and wife, we don't need any wedding gifts." "Is that so? I think someone really hopes you'll accept it, though." I glanced at the mistress. She immediately put away the smug provocation from when she looked at me just now, put on a soft and delicate expression, stood together with Liu Changzi, and spoke delicately. "Sister, husband is right. We'll all be family from now on. No need to give gifts." I let out a scornful laugh, forcefully shoved the congratulatory gift in front of Liu Changzi, and smiled as I said, "This congratulatory gift was personally prepared by your mother. Are you really not going to take a look?" Liu Changzi's expression froze. He looked at me, then looked at the mistress, and finally accepted the gift. Seeing Lu Changzi about to open it, the mistress frantically stopped him. She glared at me viciously, then instantly changed her expression when looking at Lu Changzi. "Husband, the auspicious time has arrived. Let's do the wedding ceremony first. It is not too late to open the gift later." Lu Changzi looked at me apologetically and casually handed the gift to a servant. He once again asked me to take the seat of honor. I looked at the person walking in from the entrance and said to him, "I can't sit in that seat, but the person who can has arrived." Lu Changzi followed my gaze. Seeing who came, his expression immediately changed, and he shook off the mistress's hand. When his mother made him promise to never abandon me, he spoke with solemn vows without the slightest hesitation. Now that he has broken his word, naturally his mother must be informed. His mother walked closer step by step. Lu Changzi's body stiffened bit by bit. The mistress came to pull at him, but he had no reaction. His mother walked up to me, wanted to speak but hesitated, and finally spoke with a choked voice. "Is there truly no room for redemption?" I shook my head, knelt down and kowtowed to her one last time. As I turned to leave, Liu Changzi hastily grabbed me. "Xuntao, today is a joyous occasion. Don't make a scene. Whatever it is, we can talk after this is over. Don't let everyone see us as a joke." He forced a smile, but when he met my icy gaze, he paused for a moment, and his words lost their confidence. "Can you give me some face?" I pried open his fingers one by one, expressionlessly stepped back 2 steps, and sneered. "So you know leaving in the middle would be losing face? That day when you came and went so freely with your mistress, disrupting my birthday banquet, how come you didn't think that I also needed face?" Lu Changzi was speechless. Seeing I was determined to leave, he completely panicked, no longer caring about the courtyard full of guests. He stubbornly blocked my way, his voice growing louder. "Chuntao, I haven't signed the divorce papers." "Where are you going?" "I promise you, Yuanyang will only be a concubine. Her child will be raised under your name in the future." Mother-in-law flew into a rage, yanked Lu Changzi over, and said furiously, "Enough! Isn't this embarrassing enough already? What child? Is that even your child?" Mother-in-law shouted out in her great anger, instantly stunning Lu Changzi, and also instantly silencing the whispering crowd. The most shocked was none other than Lu Changzi. He looked at mother-in-law in confusion. The mother-in-law stammered, trying to make excuses, someone born in a brothel. "Mother, it is true that Yuanyang was born in a brothel, but she kept herself pure. Before me, she never had anyone else. On this point, no one knows better than I do." Lu Changzi tried his best to explain, practically describing his mistress as a saint who was stuck in the mud but still remained pure and untainted. Due to the guests being present, the mother-in-law didn't argue back, only gave me an awkward glance. I didn't care at all and turned to walk out. "Chuntao." Lu Changzi tried to stop me, but was held back by both the mother-in-law and the mistress working together. He could only watch helplessly as I walked away step by step. Everyone looked at Lu Changzi, who had been so high-spirited just moments ago but was now grief-stricken and wooden, and exchanged glances with each other. Staying didn't feel right. Leaving didn't feel right either. In the end, it was the mother-in-law who sent everyone away, and the wedding banquet ended unhappily. Mother-in-law. The mistress knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law's pent-up explosive temper finally erupted. A slap landed on the mistress's face. The mother-in-law had done farm work her whole life and had tremendous strength. In just an instant, the mistress fell to the ground, with 5 finger marks swelling up on her face. How could the mistress have known that the mother-in-law didn't care at all about the child in her belly? Her eyes full of panic, she turned to Lu Changzi for help. However, Lu Changzi was still staring blankly at the doorway in a daze. No matter how she called out, there was no response. "Lu Lang," the mistress's voice was mournful. She reached up to grab Lu Changzi's arm but couldn't budge him at all. Lu Changzi didn't even give her a glance, only looked helplessly at his mother. "Did Xuntao really leave?" "I didn't sign the divorce papers." "That is right. I didn't sign the divorce papers. She is still my wife. I'll go find her and bring her back right now." Lu Changzi seemed to suddenly go mad. He tried to rush outside but was pulled back once again by his mother. He stumbled and fell to the ground, not getting up for a long time. "Butler, go fetch Dr. Lee. Today I am going to have a proper reckoning with this unfilial son about just how ridiculously wrong he has been." After leaving the Liu residence, I first went to say goodbye to Yang, then set off to return to my hometown Yunzhou. Passing through the woods where the horses once bolted, I recalled again the scene of that day's brush with death. My blood pooled all over the ground, yet I woke up before Liu Cheng's. When mother-in-law found us, the doctor had already stopped my bleeding. I lost the child, but with some rest, my body would recover well. Liu Changzi was different. He hit a vital spot and injured that area. Even after recovering, he wouldn't be able to have children. Mother-in-law begged me not to tell Liu Changzi. He was stubborn and cared about face. She feared he couldn't handle it. I was possessed at the time and actually agreed to mother-in-law's request. All these years, I never got pregnant again, silently enduring Liu Changzi's dissatisfaction and blame toward me. Only now do I realize how wrong that decision was back then. Although Liu Changzi and I held our wedding in the capital, my mother-in-law specially returned to our hometown to distribute wedding candies to the neighbors, so everyone knew about us. From the first day I returned to my hometown alone. I heard countless gossip. Some said Liu Changzi despised me for being a country woman, divorced me, and married someone new. Others said I made a mistake, was divorced by Liu Changzi, and slunk back home in shame. No matter what they said, I just pretended not to hear and focused on preparing my tofu pudding shop. Yang and I agreed that the tofu pudding shops outside the capital would start from Yunzhou. A month later, the tofu pudding shop opened. As I was arranging the ribbon-cutting ceremony with the staff, I surprisingly saw Liu Changzi standing not far away, looking like he was about to walk over. I handed the work to the staff and went to stop Liu Changzi. He was a bit thinner than when he was in the capital, and his face lacked any spirit. In his hands were the things I gave him that day when he took his second wife, a divorce agreement and a medical diagnosis of his body from the doctor on the day he was injured. "Chuntao, why did you hide it from me, making me foolishly think you accepted me taking a concubine, watching me treasure someone else's child? Was that fun for you?" He raised the things in his hands, trembling, and asked me through gritted teeth. "I never said I accepted you taking a concubine. Besides, didn't we already agree that if you had a change of heart, we'd divorce? Your mother was even the witness. As for the matter of the child, if I had told you the truth, then, would you have accepted it?" He was instantly speechless. "Liu Changzi, don't blame others for all your mistakes. Whether or not you were told the truth doesn't change the fact that you broke your promise. We're already divorced. My shop doesn't welcome you. Please stay away from me." I firmly pushed him away some distance, turned around to go back to the shop. Liu Changzi forcefully blocked my way. "It is not like that. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have kept wanting children. I wouldn't have had someone else. Xuntao, I know I was wrong. I've already made Yuan Yang drink the sterilization soup and sent her back to the brothel. She won't bother us anymore. Can we start over? If you want to make tofu pudding, make it. If you want to open a shop, open it. I won't stop you. The divorce papers don't count. They don't count. These days since you left, I can't eat well, can't sleep well, always feel like something's missing. I can't live without you, Chuntao." "Can you give me one more chance?" Liu Changzi cried bitterly, his voice choked with sobs. But I only felt anger inside, unable to feel even a bit of the heartache I once had for him. "Liu Changzi, didn't you write the divorce papers with your own hand? Didn't you personally take your beloved mistress to get the official seal stamped? How come it doesn't count now? Weren't you quite happy when you wrote it? The divorce papers I wrote for Liu Changzi, he always tore them up. When I was at my wit's end, the mistress just happened to come and flaunt Liu Changzi's favoritism toward her. So I deliberately showed her the torn divorce papers, deliberately let her know about Liu Changzi's care for me. Sure enough, she went to Liu Changzi crying, saying she was worried that after entering the household I would target her and harm her child. To appease him, Liu Changzi personally wrote a divorce letter, and even took her to the government office to make it official. Liu Changzi thought this was just an act to placate his mistress and put on a show for his colleagues. He didn't know that I had already asked Yi Yang to step in and turn the act into reality. Liu Changzi was unwilling to leave, so he simply moved into the old house next door and came to my shop to sit for a while every day. Just like before, he accompanied me grinding beans and making tofu pudding. No matter how much I refused, he always wouldn't leave. Liu Changzi, what exactly are you trying to do? I was furious and shouted at him. Chuntao, I just made a small mistake. Can you really not forgive me? His face was full of grievance, as if the one who did wrong wasn't him, but me. Liu Changzi, do you really think the issue between us is only because of your mistress? I said coldly, simply put down my work, and made ready to hash things out with him properly. You've been an official for 6 years. You know damn well how much your annual salary is. Can it really cover your expenses? For drinking, you won't touch anything but fine wine worth 100 gold. For clothes, you won't wear anything but the finest silk. The silver to buy out your mistress was 5,000 taels. The little courtyard where you two live has jade stone floors and gold brick walls. Your daily meals cost what an ordinary family spends in several years. Where the hell did you get all that money? I left you not on a whim, not because of a mistress, but because if I stayed with you any longer, sooner or later I would die alongside you. Liu Changzi stood there stunned, as if he too was reminded of the past. During his studies, he harbored lofty ambitions, vowing to become a good official and advocate for the people. Back then, he only had 3 copper coins on him. Yet when he saw beggars, he was willing to buy buns and give them out. But after becoming an official, everything changed. The humility in his eyes was gone, replaced only by arrogance. Not to mention beggars even when encountering common folk wearing patched clothes. He would have his servants drive them away, and would frown and say something like, "Lowly commoners," and such. Because the emperor loved poetry, and Liu Changzi was skilled in this art, he was much favored by the emperor, which made him feel even more superior. And there were always people willing to flatter him, coming to his door again and again with gifts. The first time a colleague gave him gifts, he refused very firmly, but it is hard to say when it started the things in the residence grew more and more, and the spending became more and more extravagant. No matter how I tried to dissuade him, Liu Changzi would dismiss me with just one phrase, "A woman's shallow view." Later, his promotions came faster and faster, his official position grew higher and higher, and he became more and more arrogant. My mother-in-law, using the excuse that she couldn't get used to city life, moved outside the city to live alone, raising chickens and growing vegetables, living the life of an ordinary commoner. I was his wife with nowhere to go, could only watch him sink step by step into degradation, filled with fear, yet powerless to change anything. The appearance of the mistress just gave me a legitimate reason to leave. This segment really maxed out the potential of depicting the fall of humanity in animation. He used to be an incorruptible clean stream, but later dismissed his wife's advice as a woman's opinion. The higher his rank rose, the more arrogant he became. The mother-in-law saw through everything and moved outside the city to raise chickens and grow vegetables, while the female lead could only watch helplessly as her husband descended into depravity, filled with fear but nowhere to escape. The appearance of the mistress actually became her lifeline to escape. I had thought Liu Changzi would get into trouble, but I never expected that when he did, the first person to suffer would be me. The shop closed, and I walked home as usual, but someone hit me on the back of the head with a stick, and I instantly lost consciousness. When I woke up, my hands and feet were tied, and I was thrown on a haystack. 3 masked people stood nearby. "Big brother, is capturing this person really useful?" "There is no other way. Let's try using her." "That guy surnamed Liu is black-hearted, and what imperial commissioner? P2I in cahoots with those dog officials. This person associates with that Liu guy. Definitely not a good person. Catching her, no injustice." I gradually pieced together what had happened. The neighboring county suffered frequent floods, and the court allocated large amounts of silver every year to repair embankments and control the flooding. But with corrupt officials in power for decades, large amounts of silver have been embezzled, with only a small portion used to repair the river dikes, and the materials used were all inferior goods, so the dikes would collapse as soon as water hit them. Every time it collapsed, it was repaired once, Every repair required an allocation of funds, and every allocation was embezzled once, over and over again. Floods destroyed fertile fields and homes. The common people lived in hardship. Years of discontent gradually accumulated, faintly showing signs of rebellion. But this year there was no flooding, yet the river dam collapsed for no reason, exposing the inferior stone materials inside, completely revealing the embezzlement to the common people. The corrupt officials got scared, and to escape punishment, they arrested the only official who hadn't participated in this matter, and had repeatedly reported it to no avail, trying to make him take the blame. Liu Changzi was ordered to investigate this matter, but not only did he not investigate, he instead colluded with the corrupt officials, wanting to arrest this only good official and take him to the capital for prosecution. These three people who tied her up planned to use her to threaten Liu Changzi to release the man. "She is awake. Let's take her to see that guy surnamed Liu right now." One of the masked men grabbed my collar and was about to walk out. I hurriedly explained, "I have nothing to do with Liu Changzi. Kidnapping me won't threaten him." The few people paused their steps, looked at me in confusion, and one of them reacted first and asked me, "That guy, surnamed Liu, goes to see you every day. How could you have no relationship? I am his ex-wife. We're divorced." Soon as I finished speaking, another person instantly exploded and raised their hand to hit me. "You still say you have nothing to do with that person surnamed Liu Xiaoliu? Don't be impulsive. Let her finish." The door suddenly burst open from outside. A young man in his 20s walked in, stopped Xiaoliu, and after confirming I was fine, signaled me to continue. "I divorced Liu Changze because I couldn't stand his embezzlement. Capturing me is useless. However, if you have evidence, I can tell you a place to go. She can help you save people." They still didn't trust me, but I gave them the route to the capital, as well as the token and address to contact Yiyang. I once heard Yiyang say that the emperor had long been dissatisfied with the neighboring county managing the river embankment every year. Yet the embankment collapsing every year. But no matter how many people were sent, they couldn't investigate any results, so the matter had to be dropped. If these people could tear open a crack in this matter, it wouldn't be a bad thing. 3 of them went to the capital. 1 stayed behind, responsible for watching me. The person responsible for guarding me was the one who finally persuaded Xiaoliu not to act, named Xu Yan. Around 20 years old, fair and clean-looking, though a scholar, he was quite strong. When I ground beans and made tofu pudding, he would help. After it was done, he wouldn't let me leave the small courtyard, and he was responsible for delivering it to the shop. The shop's business remained brisk, not affected in the slightest by my absence. I don't know how to describe my feelings these past few days. Since figuring out my daily habits, Xu Yan had practically become a free farmhand, and without me having to say anything, he could get everything done. The rest of the time he either read or wrote. Occasionally I'd flip through books too, and when I had questions, he'd explain in great detail, and even recommend more suitable books for me to read. Though I was being watched and not allowed to leave, with someone helping share the chores and someone helping run the little shop, my days turned out to be easier than ever before. A month later, Xu Yan had just finished helping me grind the beans and picked up a book to read when we heard knocking at the door. Opening the door, it was actually Yi Yang. As soon as she saw me, she gave me a big bear hug. "Tao Tao, thank goodness you are all right." Behind Yang stood 2 people, 2 of the ones who had kidnapped me before. Missing was that kid called Xiaoliu. "Weren't there 3 of you? Why is one missing?" Xiaoliu, catching sight of the coffin resting not far away, then seeing the expressions on their faces, I instantly fell silent. Though Xiaoliu was a bit reckless in his actions, he was an upright person. The moment he knew I was willing to help them, he knelt down before me and kowtowed 3 times heavily, both to apologize and to give thanks. He even said that when he came back, he'd work at my shop as a helper, learn from me how to make duhua, and eventually become my manager. Before I knew it, tears were flowing from my eyes, and no matter how much I wiped, I couldn't wipe them clean. It is my fault. I thought once I handed the evidence to Imperial Uncle, everything would be fine. I never imagined those people would be so deranged that they'd ambush them halfway. By the time I found out, Xiaoliu had already. I don't know if my tearful voice infected Yang Yang, but she too began to choke up as she spoke. The other two had dim expressions on their faces, and neither spoke. Only Shu Yan remained as calm as ever. I'll go prepare Xiao Liu's funeral. On the day of Xiao Liu's funeral procession, Yang and I went together. On the way back, we actually ran into Liu Changze. He wore an imperial envoy's uniform, whose color could no longer be discerned, disheveled and filthy, raising a broken dagger to stab at us. I pushed Yi Yang away in one motion, and the dagger just barely cut my arm. Before the guards could step forward, he got ahead and pressed the dagger against my neck. Why did they embezzle more than me, yet push me out to be the scapegoat? Liu Changzi roared unwillingly, his voice gradually changing from threatening to pleading. Looking toward Yi Yang, princess, I wasn't the mastermind in this matter. Please beg the emperor for mercy. I wasn't the mastermind. I don't want to die. You have such a good relationship with Chun Tao. You surely don't want anything to happen to Chun Tao. As long as you go plead for me, I'll let Chun Tao go. For every step Yang took forward, Liu Changzi took a step back while holding me hostage. Finally, Yang stopped and promised. Before you entered officialdom, the matter of repairing the river embankment already existed. The emperor is wise and will not be unaware of this. As long as you voluntarily confess what you know, I can plead for you and guarantee your life. Moreover, I'll send people to escort you back to the capital, and absolutely won't let you die on the road. How about it? Liu Changzi heard Yi Yang's words and fell into deep thought. Just as he was distracted, Shu Yan went around everyone, snatched the dagger, and saved me. Liu Changzi, coming to his senses, wanted to curse, but was pressed to the ground by the guards, only letting out a miserable scream. What I said earlier still stands. You weigh it yourself. After Yi Yang finished speaking, Liu Changzi, in extreme pain, hurriedly agreed. He looked at me one last time, his lips opening and closing, but didn't say a word. Shu Yan couldn't stand it and blocked in front of me, cutting off his line of sight. He took out wand medicine, wanting to apply it for me, but constrained by the propriety between men and women, only handed the medicine bottle to Yi Yang, asking her to help. Liu Changzi was escorted back to the capital. Yi Yang stayed in Yunzhou for half a month before also returning to the capital. Mi days returned to peace again. Xiao Liu's only relative was his 5-year-old younger sister, Xiao Qi. Yi went to the authorities, completed the procedures, and formally adopted Xiao Qi. Xiao Qi was very thin and very quiet, mostly sitting silently. At mealtime she wouldn't eat on her own initiative, only daring to timidly eat a little bit after I called her. It pained my heart to see this, so I made her different kinds of food every day. Under my diligent feeding for a whole month, Xiao Qi's thin little face finally had some flesh on it. She no longer looked at me timidly every day, and we had quite a bit more interaction. When she saw me grinding beans, she would follow by my side and help wipe my sweat. When she saw I was going to cook, she would help me start the fire. When she sees I am going to the shop, she'll take the initiative to open the door for me, then stay obediently at home waiting for me to return. Mother, Xiao Qi will be very obedient and help Mother do many things from now on. 3 months later, Xiao Qi finally started calling me Mother and even made me egg drop soup, looking at her small figure holding a big bowl, watching me with both anxiety and anticipation. My tears instantly burst forth. I crouched down and hugged Xiao Qi, no longer able to suppress the countless emotions in my heart, crying out loud. Since losing my child, I've blamed myself countless times. Why did I insist on going to burn incense that day? I've also consoled myself countless times that being unable to keep that child was heaven's will, that heaven was unwilling to let someone like Liu Chang's, who forgot his original intentions, have descendants. I've also fantasized countless times about what that child would be like if I had the chance to have another child in the future. Through my day-by-day interactions with Xiao Qi that increasingly resembled those of mother and daughter, I finally knew that having an obedient and well-behaved child feels this good. A year later, the river embankment repair case came to a close. Over 10 important court officials were imprisoned, and the implicated officials from neighboring counties were brought to justice, one by one. Liu Changzi was not only involved in this case, but also in multiple other corruption and bribery cases. Yang kept his promise and spared his life, but he still didn't survive. Me mother-in-law entered the prison to see him, bringing food laced with poison. Mother and son both died. Another month passed, and their coffins were transported back to Yunzhou, along with a letter my mother-in-law wrote to me. In the letter she repented that she only taught her son to study hard, but didn't teach him to be a good person. Liu Changze ending up where he is now was all her fault. She thought that living a hard life outside the city was to atone for Liu Changze's sins, but didn't expect it actually indulged Liu Changze's evil deeds. Mother-in-law also apologized to me in the letter, saying she shouldn't have used past kindness to bind me, making me stay by Liu Changze's side and suffer years of cold treatment for nothing. I carefully read through the letter, feeling somewhat melancholy in my heart. Ever since that day we encountered the thief, mother-in-law feared I'd be scared, so she moved in with me, treating me as well as her own daughter. After marriage, when Liu Changze and I had conflicts, she also stood on my side, although she still favored her own son and didn't want me to leave. But later, when I was willing to stay by Liu Changze's side, it was because I believed Liu Changze's words and felt we still had a chance, not because mother-in-law forced me. I've always only felt gratitude toward her, never resentment. Her sudden passing meant the ties of my first half of life were completely severed. After finishing the funeral rites for the two of them, my mood was still somewhat low. Xiaoqi saw it at a glance. "Mother, are you unhappy?" Xiaoqi obediently hugged me. Xiaoqi gives hugs and mother will be happy. Seeing Xiaoqi's smiling face, the melancholy gradually dissipated, turning into relief, then into joy. Life must always look forward. I have Xiaoqi, I have Yang, and I have my thriving Duhua shop. Life is full of hope. Mother isn't unhappy. Mother is just thinking about which academy to send Xiaoqi to. Does Xiaoqi prefer Madame Zhang or Madame Li? Xiaoqi likes to stay with mother making tofu pudding and help mother sell tofu pudding in the future. Xiaoqi said with an upturned smiling face, innocently, to learn to make tofu pudding, you also need to read and write. Our Xiaoqi needs to read and write first, then help mother run the tofu pudding shop in the future. Xiaoqi agreed to go to Madame Li's private school, half understanding our days as mother and daughter were peaceful and fulfilling. Half a year later, Yang came to Yunzhou again. This time she wasn't leaving. She requested from the emperor a fief near Yunzhou, planning to reside here long-term from now on. She also brought another person, Yunzhou's newly appointed county magistrate, Xu Yan. He was this year's top scholar in the spring examination, could have stayed in the Hanlin Academy, but insisted on requesting an external posting to become county magistrate in Yunzhou. Xu Yan followed behind Yi Yang, and when he saw me, his eyes held a smile, very different from his previous expressionless appearance that only knew how to work. He had just opened his mouth, hadn't said a word yet. When Xiaoqi ran up to him, threw herself at him, and joyfully called out, "Brother Xu Yan." Xu Yan froze for a moment, looked at Xiaoqi, then looked at me, lowered his head and solemnly corrected Xiaoqi to call him uncle from now on. Yang stood to the side laughing and chiming in, then whispered to me quietly. She said her judgment was very accurate. Xu Yan definitely wasn't Liu Changze, wouldn't be a heartless man. I made no comment. I wasn't Yi Yang, didn't have the capital to be as carefree and unrestrained as her. If she is dissatisfied with the prince consort, she can decisively divorce. After divorce, if unwilling to remarry, she can keep male lovers. When she gets tired of them, with some silver she can replace them with new ones. The mental effort it took me to leave Liu Changze only I know. Besides, with Xiaoqi, I am very satisfied with my current life. As for whether I'll seek a new partner in the future, I'll leave that to time. Cutting losses in time is the ultimate clarity of adulthood. When Liu Changze first betrayed her, Chuntao didn't fall into crying and making scenes or silent endurance, but instead seized the opportunity when the mistress came to the door to decisively push forward the divorce. She saw clearly that their feelings had long been worn down to nothing, and that Liu Changze's corruption would implicate her. She didn't settle due to concerns about 6 years of marital affection or having nowhere to go. In romantic relationships, or any relationship, when the other party crosses your bottom line and drags you into depletion. Pulling out in time is more important than forcing it to continue. Sunk costs are not a reason to keep persisting. Only by knowing how to cut losses can we avoid greater losses.